Right, people, welcome back to the channel. So we need to crack on with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is these. So these are the new version of these, yeah, because I wanted extra height, if you remember. So we're going to give these a little bit of a clean on the old belt sander. First I need to clean the belt sander, because I had to do a lot of modification to those windows. So I'm going to give all this a clean, and I'm going to clean these up, just run them on here. I mean, these are really nicely cut anyway, lasered. Yeah, laser is just amazing. So I'm going to give these a bit of a clean so we can get some tacks on them when we need to. Right then, get that done first, shall I? Right then, boys and girls, we have done some dimensionals, changed a few things, worked our way around. So I redid this because I actually broke that off a while back and it was just sitting there. So we are now, these arms are at the same height, same angle, same lead, and the tubes fit in, as I say, really nice. You won't even go through the first one. There we go. So the tubes are fitted nice and free. Yep. Then we have got, gee, come on. These are laser cut that nice. If you don't get it just right, it's a bugger. There we go. So I'll put my new ones of those back things on. So now we have our roll centre, much nicer. That one's a little bit on the piss, but yeah. So we've got our roll centre in. We have done preliminary measurements, hubs, everything's running on centre line. Across the whole of this, there's like 1.5 mil of drift, and considering there's that many off, I am going to get that a bit better. I want to be smack on. So like I have to put this 1.25 washer in here to get that spacing, because you know, once you weld something, you tack something, it moves, this moves, that moves, it's just a bit icky. My wheelbase is 1 inch longer. It's supposed to be like 30, no, it's supposed to be like 84 and a quarter. I'm like 85 and a quarter. Dead on. So I'm dead on 1 inch longer. But I think I can live with that, to be honest. I'm quite happy with that. Because I've set it up with the amount of caster it's got. Yeah, because you're not taking your line from down the centre of the wheel. You're taking your line from that kind of angle. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. So now all I need to do is I need to come up with some sort of design on bars. We've welded these in, the corner brackets. I had to stop and clean my visor. It kept fogging up. So I'll put this stuff on the inside of my visor. You know, it's Rain-X. Anti-fog. Makes loads of difference. So what we need to do now is I need to come up with some design for the front. Now I can either go down to that point there. Remember I had this bar. This is the new die I've got. So I can have it going through there and down to that point, which is quite a strong point of the chassis. Then I can either come around the front of the engine, one piece, and go down to there. Then put the two little pieces, like two new ones of these, in there, and then go from the top of that tube up to the top of shocks. Or I can come from that tube around through the top of the shocks, down, straight down to there, then put that as a separate tube, and then put an extra bar on the front. It's tricky which way to go. I can't decide. But now we've got this where it needs to be, I think I need to get the engine in. Just that way I know then which way I'm going to wiggle and jiggle around. Because as soon if I just decide to make this one, I need to know how much further I can come forward to go around the engine, but still leave space for the radiator. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of if and ahs if I do it that way. But if I bring one bar down, pick up the top shocks, come down, say, through the top engine mounts, and come down pop that in there. So it's going to come down to about this point and then go off down there, because this is going to sit at an angle. You get me? Put that there, and that there. Put that on its mark. It's a bit awkward. It's very cold in here, by the way, people. It's not going to stand up, is it? So yeah, you get me like that? So it'll come up, bend through the engine mount section, and it might come, I don't know the heights, the angles or whatever to go through here. I think I am going to drop these springs off and try and bring this angle down a little bit more. So it'll be much easier with the engine in. You know what I mean? So, well, it won't be easier, but at least I'll know where I can pick up mounts. Where if I do that bar going down there at the back, this will be coming around the front of the engine. Yeah? Which I suppose would act as a decent buffer for any sort of accident. Yeah? And then the bar for here, I've got to make sure that when that's set there, that this is far enough out to pick it up. Do you know what I mean? And it will just notch into the bottom of there. But for tie bars, it's going to be moving this way. So ideally, you want this bar going through this bar and this bar meeting up. I don't know. But I think I need to get the engine in. So we need to get that radical motor over and get it stripped down and work out from there. Because I only want to do this once. Yeah? Or I could run these. I could just run that straight down like that. As in, this bends a bit further back. This bar goes straight to there. I can probably overbend that a little bit more. Yeah? So it comes in at roughly that angle. Do you know what I mean? Get some right angle on it. This bend will finish probably about here, which will probably be high enough to get those in. Do you know what I mean? So then that bar could just be one bar, and then the top shock bar comes down to meet it somewhere around here, like I did on the R1 one. And then the bar that comes across here I can come up slightly to clear the top of the radiator and then come back in. I don't know, you can definitely see the angle that I've got set in the anti-dive. That's quite a good explanation. That's the anti-dive. Alright, let me have a think. I might even have a cup of tea. It's Sunday, so I don't want to spend too many hours in here. But I also want to try and get this mocked up, tacked up. So once it's off the table, it's easy to replace, you know what I mean? Let me have a think. Right, people, we have skipped forward to the next day because it got cold last night and it is freezing today. So, turbo engine is out. And ta-da! Hang on, I need to press the button. There we go. Right, so, wash my hand. The engine is in. Now, if I was doing drag racing, the airbox would look the tits, wouldn't it? What I have noticed is that engine is square with the table, but the airbox isn't. I don't know why. I wonder if that's just the design. I don't know. Anyway, so engine is in. And I tried yesterday to get this off. Because that's the drive coupling for the drive box, the Quaife drive box. But I need a thin wall 36mm socket. So I'm going to have a look today at work to see what we've got. Because my socket doesn't fit in. Because my 36mm socket is quite a big one. It is actually for the rear wheel on a Honda VFR 400. That is what that socket's for, if anybody knows. Because everybody knows VFR 400s are just freaking awesome. And I do regret selling mine many years ago, but I rode it like a twat. So, suspension. I think these shocks can come down a little. And that way then, I can tie it into this. This is a radical only part, this is. Normally, you only get this. This is like a brace that Radical put on. So, I think I'm going to lower these down. So then when I come to make something for this top mount, I can incorporate the brace for the bar. Yeah? So I think I'm going to be able to come down probably another inch, which will assist clearance. And what I do need to do is I need to try and get this suspension to work through its arc. So that these will be determined once this bar is in, so I can see where it's going through the arc. Do you know what I mean? Because I want it to push the shock directly up, if you get me. So if it comes down more, the angle is going to change. I don't want it to move up. I want it to go direct. So yeah. That is where we are. Engine is sitting on. I'd love to try and use the manifold, but it's just going to be so tight to work out how to get it. If I was to keep it running down the middle of the car, yes, but because I now want the exhaust to run around down here somehow and out the side to keep my passenger seat free, it's going to be tricky. I've also got to take into account wheel movement. I started to look at the offsets, what I can achieve with this shock setup and the longer arms, but we are very limited on this point here. So taking a meter reading from the centre of there out, I run a 13-inch wheel. So 13-inch wheel is 6.5 inches from the centre line, so 6.5 inches out. We haven't got much clearance, but we may be able to make it work. We won't know until we can get a wheel on. Because to get a wheel on, we need to jack the car up 3 inches to get a wheel on and run it through its motion. But we can't really do that until we've got everything in place. So I think my design, we've got to be really careful. That bar there will only just miss. Where is it? Let's just chuck any bar in. Wiggle, wiggle. There we go, look. See? Just clears the motor there. So if I do decide to come down, which I'm very doubtful I'm going to be able to, even though that is a massive gap. That is 170mm to that split point. But if I come down, very doubtful. So what I'm tempted to do is make this part here and then go down to there in one piece. Straight up and over, straight down. Then that will give me the basis for my suspension. Then, once I know where the radiator is going to be, I can bring a bar off here around to that one. That incorporates the front section. As long as I know I can get this oil cooler off, this oil filter off, and I've got room for the radiator, we're good. I could always put an oil cooler in here, vent it back to the splitter. So the air going under the splitter will pull air through into the oil cooler. It's just something I'm thinking about. Whether I'd get enough flow, I don't know. But, you know, something I'm thinking about. So, yeah, if these two bars then are in, that will hold all the suspension in place. Then all we need to do is tie in the top bars, which will probably come, if this is going to be down a little bit more, it'll probably come around, maybe swoop over the top or behind, any way possible probably. And then this is this engine mount. So this will come, yeah, the manifold really is proper in the way, isn't it? But yeah, bar somehow through and down and an engine mount to it. I've got the radical engine mounts, haven't I? These. This is what they use. So I could technically, you know, use a copy, some sort of that design to tie it in somehow. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Or it's supposed to be that way, but that ain't gonna work, is it? Hang on, the other phone's ringing. Who is he? Mick or Rudge? Hang on. So, yeah. We're in, sort of in. So, yeah. I think that's how I'm going to make it. I could have come up and in one. But what I'm thinking is, if I just do that, if I ever want to change this top design, I can just chop it off. And it's not going to affect any of the suspension geometry. It would be nice to see if an A-series will fit in, and I think it would between the two bars. I really do. So if I ever come to get rid of it, if I want an A-series in, just chop off a few bars, make it back up in as an A-series. Do you know what I mean? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right, I'm going to call that video here because it's getting a bit long. And by the way, don't worry about this. This is just on here for now. It's going to have the 50mm RLM ones, which should come out about level with the top of the engine. Yeah? So, don't worry about that. That might be another reason why I need to bring this down, because of the airbox. Good thinking, Matt. Good thinking. So, yeah, all this is just... This will probably be wall art. I might try and sell the Genvis, this core pack, the loom, the ECU, manifold. It'd be nice to have, like, a swooped back manifold. But you'd be able to get rid of the heat. So, I don't know. Anyway... See you later. Catch you in the next one. Hasta la vista. Love you all. See you later, people.